So we are beginning with lecture 1 of electromagnetic waves of electromagnetic waves. So the first thing that we are going to discuss over here is the definition of electromagnetic waves. Before coming to that definition, the last concept which we have learnt in the previous chapter is that a time varying magnetic field induces an electric field. So this is the last thing which we have learnt in the previous chapter, that the time varying magnetic field induces an electric field. Now over here, the man behind the electromagnetic wave development, that is James Clerk Maxwell, he raised a counter question that can a time varying electric field also induces a magnetic field, and the answer to this was found to be true, that is a time varying electric field is also capable of inducing magnetic field. And based on these two statements, a definition of electromagnetic wave is established, that is a combination of mutually perpendicular electric and magnetic field electric and magnetic field is referred to as electromagnetic wave is referred to as an electromagnetic wave in vacuum, such that the wave is propagating perpendicular to both electric and magnetic field to both electric and magnetic field. So based on this particular aspect, we come to further description of electromagnetic wave. So over here we are considering that these are the three mutually perpendicular axes, that is x axis, y axis and z axis respectively. And if I talk about the variation of electric field, so the variation of electric field is happening in the y axis direction, and we are marking it over here in this sense that this is the variation of electric field that is taking place in the y axis direction, and the wave is propagating in the x axis direction. And the variation of magnetic field is happening in the z axis direction, and the wave is propagating in the x axis direction. So this is what we refer as magnetic field variation over here, such that the variation of electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular to each other, and both of them are traveling along the x axis with the speed which is given as c, the speed of electromagnetic wave. The another important notable point over here is that the electric variation and the magnetic variation with time that is taking place, they oscillate in phase with each other. So the points which we are establishing over here is, the first one is the electric field vector and magnetic field vector always oscillate in phase, always oscillate in phase with each other, with each other. And the another important thing which we are establishing over here is E vector and B vector are such that E vector and B vector are such that E cross B is always in the direction of propagation of wave, is always in the direction of propagation of wave. So over here, in the case which we are dealing over here, that is we will be taking this throughout this chapter. So this is y axis, this one is z axis, and this is x axis. So the electric field variation is along the y axis, that is E is written as Ey, that is equal to E naught sine of omega t minus kx. The wave is traveling in the positive x axis direction, and this is where we are marking it as E over here, and the value of B, which is equal to Bz, is equal to B naught sine of omega t minus kx. So the magnetic field in this is in the z axis direction, that is in this way, and it is also propagating in the x axis direction. So if we check the direction of E cross B, so if you take your right hand and if you place your right hand in the direction of y, that is towards the direction of electric field vector, and curl it outside the plane of the screen, that is towards the z axis direction, then your thumb is pointing in the x axis direction, that is in the direction of wave propagation with the speed c. So from both the wave equation which we have established, we can say that the speed of the wave can be written as minus coefficient of time upon coefficient of x, that is omega by k, and this is equal to c. So we put this in the bracket that the speed of the electromagnetic wave from both the equation, that is the electric field variation and magnetic field variation, can be written as coefficient of time upon coefficient of x, that is omega by k. So we obtain that the wave is traveling in the positive x-axis direction with a speed omega by k, which is equal to c in this present context. So next we are going to discuss about the displacement current. Now, in order to understand completely about the displacement current, it is necessary that we once again state Ampere circuital law. So I think that you remember the law which we stated back in the previous chapter, in the last chapters which we have learned. So we are beginning with the study of displacement current. And before we understand the concept of displacement current, it is important that we go to a little recap, and we are studying one more time Ampere circuital law with its definition. So if I write the definition of Ampere circuital law, we state it in this way: the circulation that is cyclic integral of B dot dl of the resultant magnetic field of the resultant magnetic field along a along closed plane curve is equal to mu naught times the total current crossing the area bounded by the loop, crossing the area bounded by the closed curve or the loop closed curve, provided the electric field inside the loop remains constant. Inside the loop remains constant. So this last line over here, provided the electric field inside the loop remains constant, is something we are going to challenge in this particular part, as to what will happen if there is an electric field variation inside the loop which we are selecting. And then till now we have read that mathematically we state it in this sense, that mathematically cyclic integral of B dot dl, that is circulation of B dot dl, is equal to mu naught times the value of I enclosed, where I enclosed is the current crossing the area bounded by the closed curve. We will be coming back again and again to this particular line, to this particular statement, while we understand the displacement current. So while we will be understanding the concept of displacement current, every now and then I will be coming back to this slide. So it is important that you take this down very well. The definition which we have stated over here for the displacement current, for the Ampere circuital law. So in order to understand the concept well over here, so the first thing that we are going to do is we will apply Ampere circuital law for an infinitely large current carrying wire. So if we apply Ampere circuital law for this infinitely large current carrying wire, carrying current equal to I. So we take, if we are selecting a closed loop over here, so for this, for calculating the value of magnetic field strength due to this current carrying wire, I am selecting this closed uh, area or the closed surface, and at a distance r we are going to calculate the value of magnetic field strength. So the value of current that is passing through this closed curve is equal to I, and the magnetic field that is going to be generated can be pointed in this direction, that is tangential to this circular path which we have selected, and this is the curve that we are talking about. So if we apply the equation, that is cyclic integral of B dot dl is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. So we say that B into 2 pi r, since B is constant throughout that length segment, is equal to mu naught I, and then I can say that B is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. And this is going to be the magnetic field strength for this particular loop at a distance r. So again, if I come back to this statement, the circulation B dot dl of the resultant magnetic field along a closed plane curve. So we selected a closed plane curve of radius r is equal to mu naught times the total current crossing the area bounded by the closed curve. So the area that was bounded by the closed curve was equal to pi r square, and the current that was passing through it was equal to I. So we have done the calculation, and the value that we obtained over here is mu naught I upon 2 pi r. Now for this same arrangement, for this same infinitely large current carrying wire, carrying current from minus infinity to plus infinity, carrying current I. So this time I am drawing a cylindrical closed path, and we will be applying Ampere's law considering this loop. This green loop we will be considering. So at a distance r from here we are trying to calculate the magnetic field strength. So the direction of magnetic field will be again in this way, tangential to this path. And if I apply this equation, that is cyclic integral of B dot dl is equal to mu naught times the value of current I that is passing through this surface. So I get B into 2 pi r for that loop, green loop, is equal to mu naught I, and the value of magnetic field strength is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So the magnetic field strength turn out to be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So I am again coming back to the statement over here. The circulation cyclic integral of B dot dl of the resultant magnetic field along a closed plane curve is equal to mu naught times the total current crossing the area bounded by the closed curve. So we have taken the value of current I that is passing through the area bounded by the closed curve, and we have applied the Ampere's loop law or the circuital law for this green loop, and we have calculated the magnetic field strength at a distance r. Now, in order to understand the displacement current, I am considering that this infinitely large current carrying wire, which we have considered for the time being in the previous two cases, is connected to a capacitor. So if I consider that this particular current carrying wire is connected to a capacitor which is carrying current I like this, so this plate of the capacitor will acquire a positive charge because the current is deposited over here, and since the current is withdrawn from the other plate, so it acquires a negative charge. So over here, if I select at a distance r a plane closed curve through which we will be calculating the value of magnetic field strength. So I am selecting a closed plane closed curve, something like this. So the magnetic field strength is the direction of magnetic field is somewhat like this, and at a distance r it is uniform. So if I apply the law, that is cyclic integral of B dot dl is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. So the current that is passing through this closed curve can be calculated in this way: B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I, and the magnetic field strength turn out to be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So this is the value of magnetic field strength that we have calculated for this particular closed surface. If we repeat the same, that is, this is infinitely large current carrying wire depositing current at one end of the capacitor plate, which is acquiring positive charge, and withdrawing current from the another plate which is acquiring a negative charge. And if this time we are selecting a closed path like this, so we are selecting a closed path like this, and we are trying to calculate the magnetic field strength at a distance r. So in this particular case, if I come to the definition aspect, so over here it is saying the circulation cyclic integral of B dot dl of the resultant magnetic field along a closed plane curve is equal to mu naught times the total current crossing the area bounded by the closed curve. And in this case, the current is not crossing the area bounded by the closed curve, so I say that the current enclosed is equal to 0. It is not passing the area bounded by the closed curve, and hence if I calculate the magnetic field strength at a distance r, the value of RHS is becoming 0, so we attain something like this, that is B is turning out to be 0. Now this is where the problem lies. Now the two equations which we have written on the left side and the right hand side over here are inconsistent with each other. They are not giving us the same result. They are not giving us the same result of magnetic field strength, and hence we say that there is something missing or some error that is being done in the calculation of magnetic field, or maybe some term is missing. Now, in order to understand this term over here, we are coming to the this portion of the capacitor plate, this portion of the capacitor plate where there is a electric field that is created E. So if I redraw the diagram over here, so I am considering something like this, that if we consider a parallel plate capacitor that is being charged, so if we are considering that there is a parallel plate capacitor that is being charged, something like this. So this one is having a positive charge at one end, and the another plate is having negatively charged over here. The electric field lines is somewhat like this, is running like this. So over here, if I say that the electric field strength, if this time varying electric field, this must be accounting for some sort of current. This must be accounting for some sort of current, and in order to calculate this, I am writing that the electric field strength is equal to sigma by epsilon naught, which we write as Q upon A epsilon naught. So this is the electric field strength between the plates of the capacitor. So if we calculate the flux of this field, if we calculate the flux of this field through the area which we selected over here, that is this one. So if I calculate the value of flux due to this field, so the value of electric flux due to this field phi E can be written as E into A, and we attain a value equal to Q by epsilon naught. So we attain a value equal to Q by epsilon naught, and the displacement current which we refer as ID is equal to this change in value of magnetic flux, sorry, this change in value of electric flux. So if we calculate d phi E by dt over here, so we attain something like this, 1 by epsilon naught of dq by dt. So over here we attain something like this, that it is equal to something like this, and hence we write from here, that the displacement current which is originating because of dq by dt, which is written as displacement current id, is equal to epsilon naught of d phi E by dt. इसको वापस से एक बार करना पड़ेगा. So post calculation flux due to this field, that is equal to Q by epsilon naught. If we calculate the value of displacement current, so the value of displacement current is because of the variation of this charge with time, and if we calculate the value of variation of this charge with time, so for this I am calculating d phi E by dt. So over here we obtain it as equal to 1 by epsilon naught of dq by dt. So this dq by dt is written as displacement current. So the displacement current ID is written as this value of dq by dt, and it is written as epsilon naught of d phi e by dt. So this is the expression for the displacement current ID, which we write as epsilon naught of d phi e by dt. dq by dt is the rate at which the charge is carried to the positive plate through the connecting wire, and we say that ID is equal to IC. ID is equal to IC, and the value of ID is turning out to be epsilon naught d phi e by dt. So this displacement current, which is equivalent current intercepting the surface S, which is due to the charge, due to the change in the electric flux. And the next thing which I say is the displacement current exists whenever there is a time varying electric flux intercepted through the surface, and the value is already written over here, that is ID is equal to epsilon naught of d phi e by dt. So this is the idea behind the concept of displacement current. And now, based on this particular idea, a modification was done in the Ampere circuital law. So the modification that was done in the Ampere circuital law is that the cyclic integral. So I am writing the modified Ampere circuital law. So if we write the modified Ampere circuital law, so now mathematically the modified Ampere circuital law will be written as B dot dl is equal to mu naught times of the conduction current plus the displacement current, and if I put the value of the displacement current ID, so we obtain it as mu naught IC plus mu naught epsilon naught of d phi e by dt. So this is the expression that we end up getting for the modified version of Ampere circuital law, which we will be using in the case of electromagnetic waves. So now if I write the Maxwell's equation, so if we write the Maxwell's equation for electromagnetic waves, Maxwell's equation for electromagnetic waves. So the four equations which the Maxwell used for the explanation of electromagnetic waves are as follows. The first one is the Gauss law of electrostatics. The Gauss law for electrostatics or in electrostatics, and we write from it that cyclic integral of E dot dA is equal to charges enclosed inside the Gaussian surface by epsilon naught. So this is for the electric flux, which is equal to cyclic integral of E dot dA is equal to charge enclosed inside the Gaussian surface divided by epsilon naught. The next one is the Gauss law in magnetism. The Gauss law in magnetism, where we write that for any closed region, the cyclic integral of B dot ds is equal to 0, because the magnetic field lines form closed loop, and we obtain over here that cyclic integral of B dot ds is equal to 0. The next one, or the third equation, is regarded as Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law for electromagnetic induction, and we write it as E dot dl is equal to minus of d phi b by dt, minus of d phi b by dt, that is the rate of change of magnetic flux with time, and on the left hand side is the integral of E dot dl, line integral of E dot dl. And the fourth one is what we have read in the previous few time, that is Maxwell's Ampere's circuital law, or a modified Ampere circuital law, whichever way you wish to name it. That is cyclic integral of B dot dl, or circulation B dot dl, is equal to mu naught times the conduction current and the value of displacement current which is passing through a closed surface or a loop. So these are the four equations of Maxwell's, which we collectively called as Maxwell's equation. So if whenever a question is asked, write down the Maxwell's equation for electromagnetic waves, this is going to be our answer. That is, we will be writing all these four equations, and in the next segment we will be using this equation for knowing the various aspects about the electromagnetic waves.